Hello and welcome. This is your host with the most. Right on, right on, right on, right on. It is fantastic Friday. Killer clocks. Killer clocks. Does the clock have you down? Are you worried about things you shouldn't be worried about? The clocks look like they're against you. Hickory dickory dock. Hickory dickory dock. What is the old saying? We're not even going to complete that. We want to have a little fun today. So there you go. There it is. And here we go. Right on, right on, right on. Once again, look at the clocks. Look at the picture. Look at it. What does it symbolize to you? There's someone running down the street. And look at the clocks. They're not even looking at him, but they got beards on the nose. Another AI great picture. So what does it conjure up for you? What does it do for you? So he's racing against the clock. Hickory dickory dock. He's racing against the clock. The clock struck 12. Okay. There we go. But anyway, killer clocks. So what kind of clock do you have in your life that is causing you to be stressful? Is it a bill? Is it a way to be? Is it your age? Is it some kind of ideology or ism? Is it a deadline? Is it something that's not conducive to you? Hickory dickory dock. That's the whole thing. And so sometimes we're on time frames that are not good for us. And the reason why they're not good for us because they're a false narrative. And that narrative sometimes is pushed upon us by others, and sometimes it's pushed upon us by us. And the thing about the narrative is simply this: you're racing against time. Time never stops. Time is flying, and there's total underscore against one says time is flying. Time never stops. And happy Friday. Thank you, thank you. And so time is flying. They are right, and it never stops. Money never stops. Money has wheels, and time never stops. It's a universal constant here on this earth. And so you got to be to maximize your potential. Oh, total underscore against one says you become balanced, it ceases to exist. Okay, that's a good thing. Thank you there. And we're gonna give you a big giant right on, two claps, some thumbs up. Yeah. So what a lot of people don't understand about clocks is that they're here to just give you a judgment of where you should be. So sometimes we put too much emphasis on time because that's the way it is in society. That's the way it is in the economy. That's the way it is with our families. Everything is governed by where we have to be and who we got to see and how we need to do and what time frame and time limit. So it just gives you a framework to do things in. So what happens is as you get behind it, now you got to run. And so, yeah, total underscore against one says because it doesn't bother you as much anymore. That's right. Because time is time. It is what it is. It is a progression. Sometimes it's a regression if you don't have your processes right in your mentality, your intellect, because you're thinking about times past. So it causes you to regress and not to move forward. If you notice in the picture, that person is running forward. Even though the clocks are there, they're there just to remind that person, gotta go. So maybe they strike 12 every time at midnight or every hour. Just depends. 2 chimes at midnight, 1 chime for the hour. And that's the way it goes. And total scroll gets one says, yes, that's right. That's right. Yep. And so what happens is those are grandfather clocks. So that's why when we did this AI picture on appai.site, where they make artificial intelligence easy, we were able to render it in about 3 minutes or less. So we added the grandfather clock because there's a lot of people that don't know what a grandfather clock is because they're not common in people's homes, in a lot of people's homes anymore. Some of your luxury homes and some of your traditional homes will have them. A lot of people still have them, but a lot of people don't. A lot of people from the younger generation don't even know what a grandfather clock is. So that's what we made it. So it's a clock with a beard to symbolize it's a grandfather clock. And that's why today we're on killer clocks. because the clocks can determine your day if you allow it. But if you're working, you don't see the clock. When you're progressing and you're focused, you don't see the clocks. What you see is, this is what I need to do. This is what I am doing, and I'm just going to work to accomplish that. Oh, and Total Underscore Elegance One says, yes, as I work on my life balance, it becomes a non-factor. Of course. Of course. And the reason why it becomes a non-factor is because you're just focused and you're rolling forward. And so the time flies. And when you're working and it's something that you love, you're not actually working. You're doing what you love and what's in your heart, and you're moving forward. So the time just gets by you. So, and this is what happens. It happens in relationships. It happens in situationships. It happens in just life in general. And situationships can be, maybe you're a coach and you're out there coaching. And so whether it's sports, whether it's business, life, health, whatever you do, or a consultant, same thing there. You're doing what you love, and so it's a non-factor. And so the time does not become a hindrance. To a lot of people, time becomes hindrance. It's like they're running on that old hamster wheel. That's why we had hamster wheelology earlier in the week. And then we had hamsters that are just rolling on that treadmill and doing what they need to do. And then we had hamster hope gone yesterday. And so that was the hope. They were locked in a cage. And part of being locked in that cage is time. And when you're in a cage, time does not become your friend. It becomes your enemy. Because if it's a time-locked cage, then you're counting down the hours and minutes and moments to getting out. But in the meantime, you're not bettering yourself because you're too worried about time. And so when you cease to worry about time and you go about your comings and goings, even if you're inside of a cage and you keep trying to better yourself and you keep moving yourself forward, then the time flies by. That's the whole purpose of killer clocks. Killer clocks. And that's why we say we're not going to let it be a factor. We're just going to do what we're put here to do and to keep moving forward no matter what. So one of the situations that makes time work for you is that you're organized and you have protocol and you have setups and you have situations to where you can manage your day. And so when you start managing your day according to the time, then you can move forward a little bit faster because you're organized and you're highly productive within the time that you've allotted for yourself, or the time that's allotted for you if you work for someone. So those are the things that make it great. So if you're playing a sport and they got quarters, halves, or whatever they have, then you're playing against the time because you got to score within that time frame, or you got to come out on top and be victorious within that time frame. If you're running track, then you're racing against the clock. But in actuality, you're really racing with the clock. You just have to know, in your mentality and intellect that you're going to run as fast as you can for as long as you can, as efficiently as you can. So therein lies the training, and therein lies the paradox. And the paradox is simply this. The paradox is that you understand what it is, and you got to pace yourself, and you got to do all your techniques that you need to do. And it's the same way in business and life and health. Is that sometimes we only get a certain amount of time here on earth before we go to the next level. And so we got to maximize our potential. And so we do a lot of training as youngsters. And then as we get older, we keep learning and we keep retraining. And so that's what makes it great. So the grandfather clock got a grandfather running against the grandfather clocks. Basically in this picture, that's what you have. All right. You got a foggy day and it's really nighttime. And so a little bit wet on that cobblestone, but running to where? Running to whatever finish that they created in their life and in their mind. That's where they're going. So that's what it is. So you got to be the same. Where are you going? Where are you moving to? How long is it going to take you? And what tools can I use to be better to get there faster? And that's where we go. That's why we have AIDaddy.guru, your app, your vision instantaneously. And then that's why I have appai.sites, where they teach AI easily. So there you go. There you have it. There you go. And that's what works. And that's what works for it. So anyway, we want to keep this one short. It's Friday. And there is a total underscore against one says, yes, training is paramount. And so we want you to know it's Friday. It's Fantastic Friday. We want you to have a fantastic weekend. And we'll be posting some more here, probably later on the day or more so later. And we'll have some AppAI.site explainer videos coming up. And look for them. They'll be out there. We're streaming live to Twitch, DataApp on YouTube, and Kick.com. So we're there. You'll see us every day of the week, except for maybe Saturday and Sunday. We may start doing those that we're supposed to on our schedule. And we want to thank you for being positive and being with us and taking us on this flight today. And we want you to be the best you can be accordingly. So what I want from others, I want for myself. What I want for myself, I want for others. We want you to be the best that you can be and do those things that are going to make you happy, that are conducive for you. So have a wonderful Friday, a fantastic Friday, and keep doing you and keep doing the best that you can do. Don't let them get you out here. This is your host with the most, Mr. David, or DataApp, and if you're in business, R. Todd, real time on demand. I look forward to talking to you later. Right on, right on, right on. And thanks again for allowing me to journey with you. Right on.